The high school editors kept hearing the same murmurings from their classmates. The yearbook would be depressing. It would be thin, if published at all. What was there to look back on, anyway? No prom, no football games, no grad night. Just day after day of Zoom and sweatpants. At the same time, the seniors lamented how their final year of high school, in all its monotony, was passing them by. They feared that they wouldn't remember it. I tried to reassure them that we are working our hardest to really capture the year for what it is, said Suji Kim, editor of the Redondo Union High School Yearbook, that it is something we should commemorate and celebrate and not just shove to the back of our minds. Such has been the vital responsibility of high school yearbook staffs, to create an accurate yet compelling record of how their peers struggled through, and kept going in spite of the pandemic. Their daunting mission has been to fill scores of blank pages even though student life is traditionally documented was all but non-existent. The mission for Redondo Union High School's 25 yearbook staffers was compounded by the pressure of representing a nationally recognized yearbook. The bar was high. Mitch Ziegler, the school's yearbook advisor of 31 years, kept reminding his staff that most people's mental images of high school come from the memories preserved in their yearbooks. 2020-21 was no different. Back in the fall, the editors didn't know if or when school would reopen. So they turned to crowdsourcing. Students and their parents submitted photos of teens skateboarding and mountain biking, walking dogs, working on cars, baking bread. Like never before, life at home would dominate the yearbook. Opportunities to take photos of their classmates were slim, so staffers jumped at any chance to do so. When the drama club was rehearsing its fall musical that would make its debut on Zoom, a masked photographer snapped shots from a distance inside an actor's home. But that was before the winter surge in COVID-19 cases. At that point, photographers had no choice but to teach their classmates how to take a selfie worthy of a yearbook portrait, directing them over Zoom how to angle their bodies and perfectly capture the light with their phones. On a bright and cool day in mid-February, when athletes were finally allowed back on campus for conditioning as COVID-19 cases began to wane, a troupe of yearbook photographers descended upon the sports fields. Usually, they don't even bother taking pictures of practice. But because there hadn't been any sports games, this was their chance to capture athletes in motion. For most, it was their first time at school in almost a year. Marcel Sckesan, a senior, held his lens steady as he snapped shots of girls lacrosse players darting back and forth across the field, sticks swooping through the air with each pass. "Hey, Marcel!" one girl shouted, bounding up to him. "I'm so sweaty."